Every productivity guru says the same thing. Wake up at 5 a.m., write your tasks the night before, use time blocking, get it done. And to be honest with you, I tried all of it. I really did. But here's what nobody really tells you. Every single one of those systems were designed for neurotypical brains. Not yours, not mine, not the neurodivergent brain. Hi, I'm a premed at UC Berkeley with ADHD, and this is the system I actually use. The one that works with my brain, not against it. Let me first give you a diagnosis, because that's what we do here. The reason why most productivity systems fail for people like me with you that have ADHD isn't because we're lazy. It's not because we do not care enough. Like, I really do care about my grades, and I bet you do too. It's because ADHD does not run on time. It runs on interest, novelty, challenge, urgency, and passion. As we call it here, the in-cup method. And if even one of those 5 things is missing from a task, your brain literally is like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, let me be. Your brain will not manufacture any motivation to start it. It's not a character flaw. It's just neuroscience. So when someone tells you, just time block, just plan your day out, imagine giving somebody who's allergic to wheat a recipe that has 90% flour and tell them to go eat it. And just tell them, try harder not to die. You weakling, why are you dying? Like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And that's exactly what generic productivity advice does to people with ADHD. I spent 2 years, my first 2 years here at UC Berkeley, trying those neurotypical systems and trying to force it to work. Color code my planners, habit trackers, the Pomodoro technique. Every single one fell apart as soon as the novelty wore off. So I thought I was the problem, but to be honest, I wasn't the problem. The system was. So today I'm giving you a prescription, 4 layers. I'm gonna call it the ADHD stack. The reason why it works is because it's built exactly in the order that our brain actually needs. Energy first, then focus, then rest, then execution. Before you think you heard this before, I want you to notice something. Most productivity systems treat your brain like a machine. This one treats it like a person. That brain is you. And you are not a robot. It takes about 15 minutes to set up every morning, and it starts with something nobody in the productivity space really talks about. So let's start. Layer 1. Spoon-fed study, the video that inspired this one is linked below, talks about the inverted pyramid. Start with your biggest task first. Work down from there. That actually works, but for ADHD, it's missing one thing. It assumes you wake up with the same energy every single day, but unfortunately, you don't. Some mornings, I wake up like all the notifications are turning on and it's just ringing and ringing. Somebody's spam calling me. No, another person is also spam calling me, and I'm just overwhelmed. Other mornings, they're beautiful mornings. Everything is quiet. I can think. I wake up and the sun is out. So before I write down my tasks for the day, I do what I call a 24-hour energy scan. It takes literally 2 minutes and 3 questions. 1, what's my physical energy right now? Actually, not what I wish it was. No, actually, do I feel like I want to do it? 2, what's my emotional weather? Am I anxious? Am I calm? Am I scattered? Am I tired? 3, based on both those 2 answers above, what mode am I in? What vibe do I have right now? Is it the deep work vibe, or is it creative work? Or maybe it's just maintenance mode, just trying to keep up with the world. For me, deep work is biochemistry, my essays, my hard studying, my physics problems. I just finished a physics exam. That took all the energy I have this week. Another thing, my creative work is, for example, my painting, my scripting for these videos, and like my content planning, and also sometimes my writing. Maintenance is just my email, my homework, my laundry. I would give a secretary to do for me. That's my maintenance. And then I pick 3 tasks. Never 4, just 3. The rule is 3. And then I assign them based on the mode that I'm actually in, not the time, to my mood. That's the difference between energy blocking and time blocking. Time blocking says, I do this till 2 a.m. Energy blocking says, do this when your brain feels ready for it. One works with ADHD, one doesn't, and that's okay. And about the 3 task rule, your ADHD brain will always try to add a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, a 15th. That's a trap. The 4th task is just going to overwhelm you, and you will end up not doing either of 3 tasks they're the other 3 tasks that you planned for. The moment you see that there is a 4th thing on my list, I just delete it. It goes for tomorrow, or it goes into the someday section on my journal, just when I can afford to do that. 3 tasks. That's it. Hardest one first, but only when my energy matches it. Layer 2 is the one that nobody talks about. The hyperfocus amplifier. You've heard about the Pareto principles, I think. 80% of your result comes from 20% of your effort. So you need to find your 20% and focus there. It's the same thing with physics, for example. You need to understand how the equations came to be and what the problem is asking, then the rest of it is math. You need to know that content. You do not need to know how to do the problem. Same thing. Find the 20% to do the 80% of your result. What they don't tell you, for your ADHD brain, hyperfocus is your 20%. When we hit something that activates our INCUP, which is interest, novelty, challenge, urgency, passion, we don't just focus. We hyper focus. We go deep. We lose track of time. We produce in 2 hours what somebody spends the whole day. The mistake I made for years was trying to achieve hyper focus on demand. Like, I could just be like, yeah, let's get in the zone for the Krebs cycle. Never did, because I hate that shit. Even when it felt like the most boring thing in the universe. You can't hyper focus, but you can engineer it. Here's how. For each task of my 3 tasks that I picked from our 3 task rule, I ask one question. What's the novelty hook? What makes this feel new? Studying the Krebs cycle for the 4th time? That's boring. I don't want to do that. But if I reframe it, mapping the exact energy system of every living thing on the planet, suddenly there is something there, something that pulls me in because it's interesting. This works for everything, not just humans. For example, I'm studying 3 completely different fields here at Berkeley. We have molecular and cellular biology, economics, and psychology. For a long time, that felt like a flaw. Like, I couldn't commit to one thing. My brain was telling me I was scattered, and everybody else too. But I realized every subject keeps me from feeling boring. Every subject keeps the other feel new. When I study behavioral economics, it gives me a new framework for understanding ADHD psychology. When I study the brain, it changes how I think about studying. That's the ADHD polymath advantage. Your interests are distractions from your 20%. You just know how to find it. You just need to understand how your brain works and what your 20% is. Pause for a second. Think about one task this week where you completely lost track of time. The one that really felt electric. That's your 20%. Build more days around that and watch what happens. For example, this week, I really enjoyed my lab course. Yes, there was a lot of manual labor, but I did really learn a lot. And I realized how much I learned because I did that. It just made me push the boundaries. Not only that, but another trick that I have is always connect what you're doing to shows or movies or something that you find interesting. I've been watching this show recently. It's called The 3-Body Problem. I love it because there's a lot of philosophy involved in it and a lot of thinking just about biology and nature and physics. So I connected it. The main characters in that show are physicists. I was doing physics and I'm like, I want to be like them. I want to understand the universe and understand how it works. I need to have some knowledge of physics in a way. Even if it's hard, I need to know it. And that just motivated me to learn physics. And I hope it paid off. I still didn't get my score back, but I did way better than I thought, at least in the exam. I solved everything. Connect it to something you love. That's passion. Layer 3 is about break. And I know what you're thinking. Alunud, I know how to take a break. I've been doing it my whole life. Like, I slept 12 hours today. That's totally 100% a break. You don't. Trust me, you do not know, because I didn't either. Here's the actual diagnosis. Most people with ADHD take breaks by switching from one overstimulating thing, studying, to another overstimulating thing, scroll. And they wonder why they come back to work feeling worse than they did before. It's because you didn't let your brain rest. You just redirected the chaos to something else. You're watching news about this country bombing that country. Do you think that's rest? Like, be honest with me. That is not restful. The creator that I mentioned before, who inspired this video, was talking about this using an exercise called intentional break. And the science is real. High intensity movement boosts the BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which literally grows your new neural connections. I use that, especially on hard study days. But I also use something else, something that is more designed for like a brain, an ADHD brain. And I call it destimulation, dimming your stimulation. Instead of adding more input during your break, more sound, more screens, more music, more content, remove your input. Dim everything. Hide under a blanket. For me, it looks like no lights. That's why I barely have lights in my room usually. No music when you're studying. Open the window. And usually it's just me, my journal, writing whatever comes out. That's if I'm doing an essay. Or me in my journal solving whatever I'm solving. No agenda, no structure, just letting my brain decompress. It sounds boring, but that's exactly the point. You want to be bored. ADHD brains are constant overstimulated. We need a moment of genuine quiet, not silence as in like no sound, like there could be like white noise in the background, but like silence of no demand. No next thing, no next goal. 5 minutes of just destimulation is worth more than 30 minutes scrolling as a break. هذه اللحظة، هذا الهدوء الحقيقي هو اللي يعني يخلي دماغك يرجع لك. As I said in Arabic, like this moment, this like genuine quiet is what brings your brain back to you. Try it once, even after your next study session. Maybe don't pick up your phone. Just sit down, dim the light, 5 minutes, and notice how different you feel when you come back. Layer number 4. And this is what made everything. Time container. Not time blocking, different things. Time container. For ADHD, this changes everything. A time block says study from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Rigid start, rigid finish. Time container says you have 90 minutes. Fill it up with this one thing. It doesn't matter when you exactly start. You have this 90 minutes of studying that you have to do, for example. Doesn't matter when you start. It's just there. You have 90 minutes. ADHD brains love rebel against rigidity. That's why we don't listen to our parents. The moment you realize you tell yourself, I must do this at this exam time, your brain will find like 20 million other reasons why right now isn't the right moment. You should listen. It's 10:02. You have to wait till it's 10:05, and then it's 10:06, and you're like, no, I have to wait till it's 10:10, and then that continues. Like it literally tries to find any reason to not do the thing. A time container removes that time pressure while also keeping boundaries. I set my timer. I close every tab that isn't relevant to what I'm doing. If you are like me and you love keeping tabs, just remove the tab that you're doing out of the tabs that are important. And I actually turn off my phone, not on silent, just turn the damn thing off. And then I give 100% of my brain power to cells that are just trying to connect. Those two cells, I give 100% to the one thing I'm doing. And here's what people understand or misunderstand about ADHD and focus. Our problem isn't that we can't focus. It's that we can't regulate what we focus on. But once you've done the work, matched your energy, engineered your novelty hook, taken a real destimulation break, your brain will lock in. The container gives you the permission to start. The energy stack tells you when. The hyperfocus amplifier tells you what. The destimulation reset keeps you sustained. The time container tells you how. So here's the prescription. 1. Every morning, 2-minute energy scan. Assign your 3 tasks, never 4, looking at to your energy mode. 2. Before each task, find the novelty hook. Engineer your hyperfocus. 3. Take real break. For God's sake, please take real break. And dim your stimulation instead of adding to it. Number 4, work in time container. 100% of your brain power. One thing at a time. Do not multitask. This is the whole system. I'm not going to tell you it's gonna fix everything. It definitely didn't for me. ADHD is complex. Some days the system works. Some days your brain just wants to sit on the floor and be like, we're listening to meows. Literally. Meows in a Billie Eilish song, so on TikTok for 17 times. And you know, that's okay. But this at least gives you a place to come back to. A structure that bends instead of breaking. If one of my Sawalif girlies or guys are here, drop a moon in my comment and tell me which layer of the ADHD stack are you going to start with. The energy scan, the hyperfocus amplifier, the destimulation reset, or the time container. I read every single, even if it takes me a while to answer because life gets busy, but I'll always read them. Thank you so much for being here. If you really enjoyed my video, please watch my last video about my analog system and subscribe, like and share, and see you next time. أشوفكم في الفيديو الجاي. Bye bye.